Alright, welcome guys back to another ILWPOD video, and today me and Nate are going to be doing a what if me and him booked a KO wrestling return in the year 2026, and we're going to start with Nate.
Okay, and listen, we are going to start right at WrestleMania 42. It is night one. We're in the middle of the card. And last year at WrestleMania 41, Randy Orton had an open challenge, which Joe Hendry came out and it accepted. So this year we're running the same thing back, Randy Orton open challenge. But after Randy Orton makes his entrance, we have Nick Aldis comes out and he announces to everybody, saying that Randy's opponent is someone that he has history with, he has a past with. And next thing you know, the prize fighter, Kevin Owens, his music hits, he comes down to the ring, and now the match is set up. Kevin Owens is back in the WWE. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Let's get right into it. And there's a lot in back forth action throughout this match, alright? Until we get to the outside after a long battle where Kevin Owens hits the first apron powerbomb onto Randy Orton, which he already has a bad back. You know, he's old, he's up there in age. And Kevin Owens targets this for the rest of the match until he hits multiple apron powerbombs where the doctor at ringside has to step in and call off the match, which gives Kevin Owens wins by medical stoppage. Alright, and then we also go to the end of night one, the main event, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Alright, Sami Zayn won the Royal Rumble in Saudi to come to Mania to fight Drew McIntyre. And after Sami gets a great win, Kevin Owens comes to the top of the ramp and stares him down and points at him, signaling that he wants a shot at the championship. Alright, and that's how we end night one of WrestleMania. And we're going to go right into the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Give it to Mason.
Alright guys, SmackDown after Mania. Opening the card, KO comes out. He calls out his old friend, Sami Zayn. They've had history all throughout their years in WWE from NXT, Raw, and now SmackDown. KO calls him out and says, I want a match. I want to fight you for the world title at Backlash. Sami comes out and says, no, you don't deserve it. And then KO tries to blindside Sami. Sami reverse counters, hits him with a Blue Thunder.
Okay. And we are going to go right into the next SmackDown. Alright, Kevin Owens goes to Nick Aldis, and he demands a world title shot, but he's told no at the end of the day. He's shot down, he's declined, alright, and he's told to earn it. And he is put into a gauntlet match, a 5-man gauntlet match, to see who will fight Sami at Backlash, and that is next week, which I'm going to give off to Mason.
Alright guys, SmackDown gauntlet match is here, middle of the card. It's it's the main event of SmackDown, It's KO versus Ilya versus Drew versus Cody, and newest re-signing is Matt Cardona. He's back, guys. And then first elimination is Cody. KO hits him with a stunner. Eliminates Cardona next after an apron powerbomb and a countout. Drew gets out, eliminated by a pop-up powerbomb through the announce table and a pinfall. KO finally eliminates Ilya by a roll-up to win the match. Sami comes out post-match, and him and KO have a face-off. We're going to Backlash now. We're going to send it back to Nate.
Alright, and it is the main event of the show, alright? And it is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. The fight that has sold out arenas. The fight that has made generations talk, let me tell you, alright? And we go immediately, and it's like some of their old matches. Kevin Owens used to be in control a lot of the times for his size and how he used to do it. Alright, how he used to put that work in. And he's in control. He's beating down on Sami because Sami's the little guy. He's the underdog. And Sami fights back with little offense, but Kevin Owens really ain't having that. And finally, we get to the end of the match where he hits a pop-up powerbomb, stunner combo, mind you, alright? Okay. And it's 1-2, but Randy Orton comes at the last second and punt kicks Kevin Owens' head off to, for one, give Kevin Owens the DQ. And since it's DQ, title cannot change hands. So Sami Zayn is still your champion. We're going right to the SmackDown after Backlash. Hand it off to Mason.
KO, middle of the card. He's having a promo. He's pissed. He's mad. All right? He's mad that he got cost by Randy, who he put out of action for a few months with his back injury back at Mania. And KO calls him out. He says, since you call yourself the Legend Killer, in this case, I will be killing the Legend. Randy comes out mad and angry as he usually does, that normal Viper like tone and anger. And he says, there's one legend that cannot be killed, and that's me, the Viper. And then a brawl starting. We're going to go to the SmackDown before Money in the Bank.
Nick Aldis comes out and he announces the Money in the Bank matches that will take place to see who will go into that Money in the Bank match. And this week on SmackDown, it is Kevin Owens versus Matt Cardona versus Carmelo Hayes as one of the qualifiers. And also Randy Orton versus Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams. All right. And we're going to send it right off to Mason.
All right, we're at the first of the two gauntlet matches here on SmackDown. It's KO versus Matt Cardona versus Carmelo Hayes. Owens powerbombs Hayes on the apron. Cardona hits a Rough Rider out of nowhere on Kevin Owens and gets a close fall. Carmelo Hayes hits a nothing but net on the outside on Matt Cardona. Owens capitalizes on that moment, and it hits two stunners on Carmelo to get the pinfall.
All right, and we're going to go straight into the next match. It is main event of the show, Randy Orton versus Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams to see who will go to Money in the Bank. Randy Orton hits his famous apron DDT on to Trick Williams on the outside. And then we go where Randy Orton hits a crazy RKO out of nowhere on Ilya Dragunov. But as he's going for that pin, Kevin Owens comes in and he punt kicks Randy just like Randy did him in his world title match at Backlash to take out Randy Orton. And Ilya Dragunov crawls over, covers Randy, 1, 2, 3, and now Ilya Dragunov is in Money in the Bank.
All right, guys, Money in the Bank is here. KO versus Ilya versus LA Knight versus AJ Styles, Gunther, and Chad Gable. Knight is taken out by Gunther after a powerbomb through a ladder bridge. Styles takes out Gable by a Styles clash off of a ladder, which is just insane. We don't normally see that kind of stuff anymore. And then Ilya is taken out by Gunther after a sleeper and a powerbomb combo. KO powerbombs Gunther off of a ladder through a bridge. KO almost wins until an RKO out of nowhere. Ilya wins Money in the Bank. We're going to send it right back to Nate.
Okay. SmackDown after Money in the Bank, all right. Randy Orton, he calls out Kevin Owens and he challenges him to a match at Bad Blood, all right. He's like, you've costed me now Money in the Bank. I don't have many years left in my own career. So how do you think I'm going to get to a world title if you keep screwing up my opportunities? So at Bad Blood, I want you in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And we are going to go straight to Bad Blood where I send it back off to Mason.
All right. Bad Blood is here. KO versus Randy Orton, 2 out of 3 falls. Randy Orton pins KO after a surprise RKO. KO gets a fall after a pop-up powerbomb on the apron, and a countout. KO gets the final fall after a package pile driver.
Okay. And we go to the SmackDown after Bad Blood. And Kevin Owens, he's out there. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. All right, I've lost my world title. Both times I've had a chance at a world title, I have lost. So we're going to go try for something little because you can't always shoot for the top and score. So I will challenge Trick Williams for the United States Championship right now in an impromptu match, which Trick Williams comes out and he agrees to the match. And they have a very short match where Trick Williams gets a roll-up on Kevin Owens to get the pinfall, and Kevin Owens is pissed. He goes out to the outside of the ring. He's throwing the camera monitors off the announce table. He's just messing stuff up. He's angry. And we go to the next SmackDown.
Yeah, KO comes out. He's mad. He wants his rematch. Trick Williams comes out and says, you're going to get your rematch at SummerSlam. We're going to go to SummerSlam and hand it back to Nate.
All right. At SummerSlam, Trick versus KO, the U.S. title. All right. And as Trick is coming to the ring, Kevin Owens, runs and jumps over the top rope and attacks him during his entrance. All right. and he beats him. They fight through the crowd. This gets brutal. He's putting him through tables, hitting him with the fans' chairs on the ground floor. He even throws Coke in his face, all right, and he beats him down with trash cans. And they fight all around the ring. And then as soon as they get right into the ring, Trick Williams hits an out-of-nowhere trick shot to pick up the victory on Kevin Owens, all right? And we are going to go to the SmackDown after SummerSlam.
SmackDown after SummerSlam, Trick's pulling up into the garage in his fancy car. He gets out, crowd's cheering him, he's talking to people backstage. Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere, starts beating the sense out of him. He's throwing him around, throwing him into the walls, anything he can throw at Trick, he's going to do it. And then he picks him up and puts him through the windshield of Trick's own car. All this comes into the garage screaming at KO, and KO tells him to give him one more shot, one more match, if you will, against Trick Williams, and then just leaves the arena.
All right, and we are at the next SmackDown. All right, Nick Aldis comes out, and he tells KO, "You want one more match so bad. All right, you're one of my favorites. All right, and since you deserve it, like you say, I will give you one more match at Survivor Series. But the catch is, if you lose, you will have to leave SmackDown." And Kevin Owens and Trick Williams shake hands and they agree to this match at Survivor Series.
Survivor Series is here. It's a loser-leaves situation. Card opener. Owens hits an apron powerbomb on Trick to take early control of the match. Trick comes back, puts him through the barricade with a spear, hits two trick shots on Kevin Owens to pick up the win.
All right, we jump straight to the Royal Rumble after a long hiatus of the man that comes out at number 30, Kevin Owens. All right, he was forced to leave after he lost a match to Trick Williams at Survivor Series. But you know what? Nick Aldis, he felt bad. So he gave that man his job back. Because Kevin Owens, after backstage video we seen, Kevin Owens begged for his job back. Alright, he didn't know what to do. He was sad with his life. And he comes back, and number 30, he gets in the ring immediately. And he immediately stunners Trick Williams, throws him out, powerbombs Randy out of the ring to eliminate him. Alright, and he makes it to the final four. It is Kevin Owens, Matt Cardona, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul, alright? And we get Cardona, he eliminates Drew McIntyre after a Rough Rider, and then gets eliminated himself after a pulverizer, alright? And then, finally, Kevin Owens and Logan Paul are both on the apron, battling. Both have went over the top rope, but stayed on the apron. And then Kevin Owens, he's sick of it. He kicks him in the gut, package power drivers him on the apron to get the victory, and that man is going to the main event of WrestleMania. And next, we have the SmackDown after the Rumble.
All right, SmackDown after a chaotic, wild, crazy Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens comes out on top from number 30, wins the whole thing. Sammy is out in the ring, right? He's middle of the card. He's talking about he's wondering who he's going to face at WrestleMania. KO comes out and attacks him, announces that he's going to be his opponent at Mania, hits him with a package pile driver on the chair, and then leaves.
Okay.
And we're going to go to the SmackDown before Mania, and we're going to send it back to Nate.
All right, because we had to jump a little bit, all right? These two, for the past 2 months after Kevin Owens announced this match, has been feuding. And they've just promos, brawls, whatever you can imagine. It's war, basically, between these two men that hate each other so much. And since we are at the SmackDown before Mania, it is the contract signing. For their 2 out of 3 Falls Hell in a Cell match, alright? Because Kevin Owens says, "I want to end you at Mania. I'm sick of you being in the same company as me. I want to end your career, Sammy. Alright? And I want to make sure you can't walk after you leave that cell." So, it is the contract signing. And right when the contract is passed over to Kevin Owens, after Sammy signs it, KO looks at the crowd, he stunners Sami Zayn, and then package power drivers him on his title. And after that busts Sami Zayn open. He signs his portion of the contract in Sami's blood. And we are going to go right to WrestleMania 43, and I'm going to hand it off to Mason.
WrestleMania 43, Night 2, in beautiful Riyadh, Saudi Arabia is here, guys. First, Hell in a Cell, 2 out of 3 falls. KO pins Sami after a cannonball through a barbed wire table to get the first fall. Start of the second falls here. Sami gets the second fall after back-to-back haluva kicks on Kevin Owens. They're both out of breath on the floor. Third fall starts. They're both out of breath, laying there trying to recatch their breath, all right? And then they start brawling again after a long, long brawl. They end up on top of the cell. KO hits a package pile driver through the roof of the cell. They plummet all the way down through the ring. And when the ref goes to check on both of them to make sure they're okay, he sees that KO is on top of Sami but barely moving. So the ref has no choice but to count 1, 2, 3. KO ends up winning, beating Sami for the title. KO has to be propped up to his feet by the referee, gets his arm raised, holds up the title. But as soon as he does, the man who won Money in the Bank, the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, sprints down to the ring, hits him with a Constantine special, Torpedo Moscow, and then not 1, not 2, but 3 H-bombs, pins Kevin Owens, and Ilya ends WrestleMania Night 2 as the WWE Undisputed Champion.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching another great fantasy booking with me and Mason. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, leave it down in the comments. Like, subscribe, whatever you guys need to do. Turn on them notifications. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.